Praise Allah for sending me you, my love. You found your home, it's here with me, and I'm here with you. Now let me let you know, you've opened my heart. I was always thinking that love was wrong, but everything was changed when you came along. Oh, and there's a couple of words I wanna say. For the rest of my life, I'll be with you. I'll stay by your side, honest and true, to the end of my time. I'll be loving you for the rest of my life. Through days and nights, I'll thank Allah for opening my eyes. Now and forever, I'll be there for you.
How about the person that does not use his youthfulness, his youthful age well? There is no word that can describe the level of his pain, the weight of his regret, and the anguish of how permanent he will feel he has lost a chance that can come only once. Ali radiallahu anhu said in a particular key statement that ni'matani law bakati dima'a alayhima aynaya hatta ta'azzana bidhihabi lam tablughu al-mi'shar min haqqayhima faqdu shababi wa qurbat al-ahbab. There are two blessings that when you have enjoyed and exhausted them, no amount of cry, wailing, and regret that you will shed, that will be enough to quantify the degree of your loss. Because these blessings, they will usually come and then they will go. When you cry over them, you cannot exhaust your tears to meet up with how serious your loss is. They are fakodu shababi, for you to lose your youthfulness, or furqatu ahbabi, for you to lose a loved one. Youthfulness is that age and is characterized by some of the items that decide what a society looks like. It is the function of an engine in a car. It is the function of a brain in a body. It is the engine of every society. Wherever youth exists, things happen there. If you therefore want to decide what happens to a youth, is the moral beauty that he can demonstrate. Morality refers to the cream of a cake. It is the light that brings out what has not been noticed. It is the attention that draws the world to where you stand. What do we mean when we say morality? Morality is simply your character, your conduct, your own scruples, the things that guide you, that help you to navigate your day-to-day planning activity, your decision making, what you choose to do, what you choose not to do, every single action, and of course the consequences that come with such action. This is what morality does. One whose morality has become dented, affected negatively, or completely destroyed, you easily see the manifestations in him of a useless item to the society. His presence is not desired. His absence is craved for. Because you are a liability. You are a waste. You are useless and the society suffers from your presence. Morality is one of the most important items that exists on earth. Therefore, if the youth who are the most important age bracket have a good grip upon morality, you can imagine how beautiful the world will certainly become. The Quran said, "Inna Allah la yughayyiru ma bi qawmin hatta yughayyiru ma bi anfusikum." Allah will not descend upon the earth to change the things that are happening in it, but He will watch you changing what is your own. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam has told us about this same thing called morality, is that he, the Rasul, has prophesied that morality will depreciate. As time changed from his time towards ours, morality will become less good. Morality will change from good to bad. He once prayed, Allahumma la yudrikini zamani. Oh Allah, do not spare my life to see a time. La yutaba'u fihi min al-alim, la yutaba'u fihi al-alim, wa la yustahya min al-halim. Do not allow me see a time when people will abandon following knowledge and follow ignorance, and do not allow me to see a time when shamelessness will become the order of the day. One of the Sahabas, the pious followers of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who lived a long life and experienced some of these changes in time, made a bountiful statement in relation to this same dua. He said regarding the decline in times, the decline in morality, ma'rufun zamanina munkaru zamani qad mada wa munkaruhu ma'rufun zamani lam ya'ti. That what you people call good in this particular time I am living today used to be called bad in the times of people that came before you. But mind you, what you people call bad in this time of today will be called good by people who are yet to come. If you imagine the weight of that statement, it spells nothing good for you and I. It prophesies when people will begin to fall short of the expectations of morality. When people who are good will begin to decline in number. When people who are evil and corrupt will begin to appreciate in number. When people who are the despicable of the society will become in charge of your own affairs. When those who do good things will begin to appear like strangers. Similar to when the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Bada al-Islam ghariba wa saya'una ghariba kama bada'a." That you Muslims who uphold the banner of morality, a time will come when people will begin to look upon you like strangers. And then, remember, Islam started off before as a stranger amongst people. Brothers and sisters, it is important, therefore, for us to ask ourselves, what do I have to offer my society? What moral contribution do I have to give to my society? But of course, you will agree with me that one of the questions that will be provoked by that same question is, can I give what I don't have? Therefore, what do you have? Morality is a permanent construct, a building that is ongoing. It is a process that has long commences but never ends. It can take whatever direction. Therefore, today can be a point that you make a turn. If you are somebody who has always picked his inspiration from cultists, it's a point for you to begin to think, what am I doing? You see, today, young boys, when they are dressed, they shift down their trousers and they sag it, and they call it guy. Young ladies, when they are dressed, you begin to struggle to look for the cloth because you see more of their nakedness than before a small piece of handkerchief covering the vitals. Our youth, as they grow up, they see all of this on the televisions, on the internet. And unfortunately, this set of people are celebrated. They are called celebrities, and then you want to be like them. From the very onset, therefore, you are hungry for the wrong thing. When a child sees a scorpion crawling with a beautiful tail raised and fingers that are raising its belly some inches above the ground, and the scorpion is moving in an interesting gait, the child will seek closure with the scorpion. But because the child cannot see beyond his nose, he will need the guidance of an adult to caution him as to the danger his approach to that scorpion portends. This is where your parents, your family, your teachers, your ustaz, they become relevant in your life. Because this is the only role they seek to play. And yet, this same category of people are the set of people you permanently believe don't want your good. Every single youth, with respect to the exceptions, believes that his parent does not understand him. Every youth thinks that his teacher does not know what is good for him. Every youth assumes that his family is retarded, barbaric, and does not know what is trending. You forgot that what you call modernity today, that informs this your thinking, is just a time that once was seen by those that came before you. When people were carrying afro and wearing Keep Lagos Clean, that was modernity at its height. They thought too, like you, that their parents did not know what they were doing. Someone once said that you will never know that your father was right until the day you have a child who thinks you are wrong. That is the unfortunate cycle of life. Unfortunately, its implication is that most youth will miss it before they will want to get it right. And majority don't get it right because it often becomes too late. Our generation is most attacked. If we have ever cried that there was derail in morality, if we have ever worried over a generation, our time is worse hit. Things that are seen and experienced today, they have never been seen by people of yesterday. New levels of criminality have been innovated. And I would like to remind you of what I started with. That the beauty of a youth are the ugly things about a youth. All the strengths you have, all the abilities, all the agility. You can jump fences, you can climb trees, you can gallivant, you can take risks, you can dare things. This ability, this is dangerous and or effective. And this is why what you use them to do can mar or make you and mar or make your society. Therefore, it is important, therefore, for us to try and look at what is happening in today's society against these abilities. What are people using these abilities to achieve in our society? Somebody will willfully subject his own life to a possibility of dying in a vast sea. A sea that is vast and bottomless in terms of his size because he wants to risk getting to where he thinks he will make it in life. Somebody can spend literally countless hours in the face of a computer to build a false relationship with somebody somewhere in another part of the world, earn the person's trust, get the person to part with several millions of naira, and then he has hit a jackpot. Somebody in the name of self-satisfaction will smoke anything to feel high. Cigarettes used to be called dangerous to health if smoked. Later it was said that it was capable of deleting one day from your life, and people did not scare from it. But cigarette is no longer reckoned with when we are talking about things people take. Indian hemp is even among the least things people worry about. Now, new forms of items are now devised. Things that you wonder where this thinking came from. And this is what I mean when you talk about the abilities you have, what you choose to do with them. Somebody is able to discover that when you smoke a sock away, it gets you to high. I mean, where does that kind of thinking comes from? You can see what an ability that is misdirected can achieve for you. Somebody begins to think about a drug that was made to cure fever. You discover that there is a way you can mix it up, and that same drug will become not just a mere tramadol for killing pains, but a tramadol for getting high. You can see what the thinking of a youth can do. Things that you never thought of, they can make it happen. Have you not seen societies where people use this same thinking to bring about technological improvement? Have you not seen a young man from scraps? He designed what you can call a plane that could fly. Have you not seen that the pounding machine we have today in the world was innovated by a Nigerian? Are you not aware that some of the big brains in the Western world are from among you youths of Nigeria? And yet, we choose to allow our youth to be inspired by people who we should be ashamed to associate with. Where do we go from here? How do we achieve that generation we want for ourselves? I look at each and every single one of you today as a potential maker of a great society. A society that can tell evil to shut down and it will obey. A society that can determine how good we thrive and it will certainly agree. A society that can make the dream of our founding fathers to come to reality and fruition, and it will be so. How you can achieve that is from the set of persons who always worry about you. Starting from your home, your listening ear must be turned to your parents. Your attention must be given to your teachers, and your passionate interest must be focused upon your ustads who are worried about your entire existence. The moment you are able to put your loyalty in the right place, you have gotten it right. And this is the summary of where the youth suffer. You are a slave without realizing it. The worst form of slavery is one who is in shackles, yet he prides himself upon being free. A man that wears his trousers below the buttocks is a slave to what he thinks right. A man that pierces his skin, tattoos his entire body, wears hair, carries chains and bangles on his ears, and begin to walk like one that is struck by the devil himself, is certainly one we should wish not. A statement talking to you and I. Ya Ibn Adam, ana khalqun jadid, wa ana amaluka shahida. Iqtani minni, fa inni la a'udu ila yawm al-qiyamah. Oh, you son of Adam, I am a new creation, and I am going to observe what you are using me to do today. Use me well. Because if you exhaust me, I will never ever come back to you again. That is what your youthfulness is. If it goes, it has smoked off. You will only look back, either with a bite on your finger or with a wry smile, thanking Allah for having listened to today's lecture. And in finality, how do we defeat these challenges of youthfulness? The very first thing comes from here. Your mind, your thinking. Who do you define yourself to be? The moment you have a proper definition of an ideal human, believe me, you have solved your problem. Because this is where we get it wrong. The moment you think this is the road, irrespective of who is dragging you back, you will follow it eventually. You know what is right. None of you is a madman. You know what is wrong. None of you is stupid. But you have the ability to make a decision as to what you want to do, who you want to become. أقول الحق من ربكم فمن شاء فليؤمن ومن شاء فليكفر. The truth is evident. Whoever likes should follow it, and whoever likes should not follow it. That is a decision that Allah recognizes that you have the ability to make. Number two, you must want to change things around you. There are two possible things you can worry about and then choose to change them. One are the things that are happening generally around you. And the second are the things that are happening within you. The first are things that you may not be able to reach. You are not happy that some people are suffering in some parts of the world out of hunger, starvation, deprivation. You wish them well, but there's nothing you can do. But among you, within you, you have a family. You have a circle of friends. You have classmates. These are people that some of them listen to you, you listen to each other. This is what we call the circle of influence. These are areas your action can affect. These are extent to which you can reach and change things or influence how they do things. Make your influence count positively. In that manner, you would have designed an ideal small microscopic society from your own point. And if every single one of you here decides to influence his circle of influence positively, of course you have created by that a society you would want your own children to conveniently live in. I remember an occasion in which Umar ibn Khattab, he summoned some of the Sahabas and he expressed his worry to them. How do we change the society to make it better? Each of them was coming up with ideas. Maybe if I have a lot of money, I will invest them on the part of Allah. The other one said, I wish I have a lot of property, I will channel them to help me. And all of them were coming up with one or the other. Umar was not impressed. And then he noticed his demeanor and he sought his own view to the matter. And he said, Atamanna mil'a hadha al-bayti rijalan. I wish to have a room filled with men, mithla Abi Ubaidah, who have the character of Abi Ubaidah, wa Mu'ad, who have the personality of Mu'ad, wa Ibn Yaman, who have the integrity of Uzayfa bin Yaman. فَاسْتَعْمِلْهُمْ فِي طَاعَةِ اللَّهِ. And I will open the doors, I will open the windows, I will gush them forth, change the society, and I know definitely they will give me a desired society. Today I ask you, who will be the Mu'az of our society? Who will be the Uzaifa of our society? Who will be the Abi Ubaidah of our society? Because our society is sick, is dying, is hungry for people with moral standard. Towards a better generation lies in your own hands. Make a change by changing yourself and changing everyone that you can influence. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
We thank our brother. We say Jazakallahu khairan. As I said before, he's somebody that is very seasoned in this kind of discussion topic, the transition age. And in the course of this discussion, he discussed about modernity. And our society is sick. Take a look around you. Everything was in order. The master, the teachers were roving around trying to make this place viable for us to sit down. This school is really something else. We thank you. And Hira Comprehensive College is also here. We also recognize your presence as well. It's the Arabic Muslim School, Al-Aqiqah Academy, Jetu Secondary School, St. Angela's Secondary School. While the program was on, we noticed your presence actually. Then we also have Deanway. Deanway, we also welcome you. You are highly welcome to this program. Then we have St. Philip. Not just only is St. Philip. St. Philip came, not just only with the students, the administrator itself came. And it's a reverend pastor, it's a reverend father, Reverend Gregory. He came. Also, we thank you so much for coming over. And also, Apasho Group of School, you are here. We bid you welcome. Then, before we go to the next speaker, please, we bid you help me welcome the director, the proprietor of this great school, the Leaders Group of School. He is really a wonderful man. Please, we want to welcome him to give us a fatherly advice. And we bid you all please to just listen. We're not going to take too much of the time. Sir, you're highly welcome.
I want to personally introduce him. He may not know. He actually inspired this program we are having today. We had a discussion in front of my father's house. We spoke at length, about an hour discussion. All the things our father, Chief Lekki Oshorenwa, was discussing was how to make the society better. After my discussion with him, I sat down. How do I get this our father committed to our cause? I wanted to let him know that the discussion he had with me sit well with me. I wanted him to appreciate a little thing from what we will bring forward. This was what prompted the letter we wrote to him. We detailed about this program, how we want to do it, and he gladly accepted, wholeheartedly accepted it, and he pledged his support. He even said he was going to mobilize the rich men in Jetu to support this program. But we told him, sir, we don't even need it at that big level. Let us start it somewhere. It's a program from this organization, UMIA, that we'll do on annual basis. We usually organize it at a micro level. But our father said, no, let's take it to a higher level. So no, let's just do it at that still small level. But we'll incorporate your ideas. His ideas that we incorporated is what you have today. For the first time in the history of this great organization, UMIAN, we are bringing together our young, energetic brothers and sisters from different schools to come and sit down and listen to moral instructions, moral lessons, and things that will make you better tomorrow. We are very sure we are moving towards a better generation. We promise to build another nation, to worship Allah the Almighty. It's going to be a very wonderful talk from our father. And please be with your pen so that you jot some things down.
I thank this organization. I say I thank them because I have been frustrated looking at the two powerful religions that would have come to wake up the country called Nigeria. But seeing these young men coming to my office, I delayed there for more than an hour, and I'm sure they got richer, they got much more energized in the cause of which they believe in. And today, I am so elated, I'm so prized before my spirit in my body that the speech of the young man, you know, if you hear say a farmer say, you know, they pay people who can't do job for digging. He is not a good, he's not a hard work, he's not a good digger. It's not a hard work digger, because he will say a digger gains, dogs 100 hips. It is then you pay him 1,000 naira. He has forgotten that the soil you dig are of different texture. There are those with pebbles, stones. There are those that are half full, they are just sand. You pack as you like. But if he were a digger, if he was a hard-working digger as a farmer, even if you dig 20, he will appreciate, because he knows the difference in the land texture. The same thing, when those young boys came to my office, I found that they were interested. They wanted to know. They wanted to hear more. And when I met some of them, I found a lawyer who is technicalized in the issues of social and earthly work, all involved in the Islam pursuit. I became so happy. Before now, I have always believed that the two religions, they are two sides of the same coin. But because of hunger, greed, and the personalization of self, we widen the gap so that there might be wars, there might be chaos. And the very reason why these two religions are existing is abandoned. That is sinking the face of God. Now, some Muslims are busy seriously criticizing, if they preach a sermon without criticizing the Christian religion, they have not done anything. Some other Christians, until they say only Christians will go to heaven, if they cannot emphasize this, they may leave the scripture alone. Whereas these two religions grew from the same middle of the world. And so, I, an exponent of this idea, I make sure that 2 days are given to opening my assembly with Islam religion. I'm a Christian, and if you see what I sacrifice as a Christian, you will yawn. Now, when they were building the mosque at Yoruba, I made sure I contributed. Because God is God everywhere. And the speech this young man gave me, I am flabbergasted. Because I have never again, in my quiet, solitary thinking, I have never thought again the youths can produce this group of persons thinking about the life and times of the youth of this generation. The beauty of this world is already being lost, but particularly in Nigeria. That quickly takes me to one of the points I remember to put down. Nigeria is in dire need, in desperate need. In fact, we should be on overdrive in seeking this kind of association to form here and there, so that our generation will not be a waste. Because if we are devils now, they say youths are bad, youths are doing that, as he has named them, if we not give birth, we will give birth to the devil. So when I found that youths no longer listen, because the falcon no longer hears the falcon. And you see, Achebe wrote a book. These are the present Achebe I am seeing. And God will empower me to see the very little thing I can do to make sure this association has its galloping progress. All the negatives are all packing themselves into the Nigerian space. In academics, I want to quickly say, the speech this young man made, me, I want a copy. He would have documented it because ideas fly so fast out of those possessing them. Some of the books I read, if I now read them again, I start wondering if I was the one who wrote them. So always document. How do you tell a child, and Nigerians, except they are go at it, except they are forced? Like here, I tell you, for God's sake, if you don't obey me, I say, for devil's sake, you will obey. That's why I use the koboko. I don't play with it. There are some of the big boys I have talked with. But do you know, they equally told me that they are not immediately driving at finances. That is another wonder. For a Nigerian to talk of other things and leave money aside, I am surprised. So congratulations. It means they mean business in the spiritual. If you can listen to them, befriend some of them, you will grow. I go quickly so that I will not waste our time. Now, because of all those things I've named, Gaddafi killed 245 Nigerian youths because he saw them as anathema. He saw them as a way of disgracing or reducing their belief in God. With the low waist, with the scattered hair, he said, these are good Nigerians, good for fishes. My fishes will feed fast. They lined them along the coast of Mediterranean and they were fired. The man was very happy. He said the fish will feed so well for this week. The Nigerian, when I was in Nitro Airport in London, when I visited my children over there, and immediately you say Nigeria, I am telling you what these people are out to attack. Immediately you say, look at beautiful ladies like those created on Monday when God's Energy for Creation was on the top chart. They are very warm in beauty. They come to you with flowers, with biscuits and all that. I say, you are welcome to the land of Britain. After the heavens, Britain. But what country? As soon as you say Nigeria, under 5-3 seconds, you are already facing a very big glass so that they see your internals. Because they tear the tire, they go to hospital for operation, they remove they tear the tire, put cocaine, put some here, go to the vigilance, put some there, and then they swallow some. When they get there, they take some drugs that will make them, shit them out. Before you know it, he's now a millionaire. These are the things they have seen. And they have blocked the opportunities of you youths. Because those countries, they don't have, what do you call it, widow protector. You find a Nigeria, a typical Nigeria is a prisoner in his own cell. Only he has the key. As we are here, now those who will not hear, they will not hear. We are only begging God that they will all hear. Because that honor is not up here. I'm talking figuratively. Now, in Wapiola University, Oloikon, Odinyo, and Enako, whenever he's going for court meetings, and his friends will go for lectures. Whenever he's drinking, and any young camera know them. That's why I said, so please, make sure, whenever they call you again, you come at a higher level of understanding. Because we are already now aware, with this inaugural contact, that they have started something. Let me tell you, the big world powers, they started from lower age. Adolf Hitler started from about 25. Otto von Bismarck of Germany, he started at 22.
I will summarize it with one sentence. Our Father is saying, leave a legacy that when you are not around, your absence is going to be felt. That is what he was indirectly telling us in the whole beautiful speech. Thank you very much, sir. We really appreciate your presence, sir.
I'll discuss on one salient area. Have you read Walter Rodney? If you've read Walter Rodney, or you are familiar with the message of Walter Rodney, He dealt on how Europe underdeveloped Africa. The whole message is how we were made to be what we are today. That is gone. How do we now become a nation, an ummah, a group that will be beneficial to ourselves? This is what should preoccupy our minds currently. The dramatists will say that the theater of a given play, the setting of a given play, is determined by the dynamics of the society. What it entails is what happens in the society, what dominates the human thinking is what you see as the drama you watch on daily basis. Watch the Nigerian dramas. What do you see on daily basis? Criminalities, 419s, Yahoo boys, prostitutes, and now lesbianism, let me say same sex, or it's both homosexuality and lesbianism. How do we move on as an organized group? We'll be given an instructive discussion by the Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Ya ayyuhan nas, inna wa'dallahi al-haqq, fala taghrannakum al-hayata ad-dunya wa la yaghrannakum billahi al-ghurur. Said, oh you man, recognize the truth of the Creator. Inna wa'dallahi al-haqq. The truth, the direct truth of the Creator, and recognize it. Do not allow the chief deceiver, the chief impostor, Satan, to deceive you. And do not allow the world to deceive you. This is where we find ourselves today. We are easily deceived. We are easily taken away. We are always thrilled by the nonsense things that are happening in the world, and we tend to follow as they come. Brothers, I want to summarize my message. If you truly want to be good, if you truly want to tread the path where you will be respected and become something worth mentioning to your parents and your kids, join up with a pious group. I will give you some indices. Anybody that you will be with, that person will not remind you of your Creator. It will not make your mind to tremor about the essence of creation. And it will not make your intellect to be channeled towards anything good. That person is a wrong person to you. You must be with somebody that will always remind you of good things. You must be with somebody that always let you to know that being good is worth it. Do not be with a group that will lure you into criminalities. A lot of our boys are into Yahoo today. And what are they using? They are using the phones and the laptops. But a young boy just told me last week that the youngest millionaire in the world today earns $22 million per annum. And this boy, what he does was to configure games, put them on YouTube, and the whole world is subscribing to it. They play the YouTubes, and every minute used on it, his account is credited. But we, the criminals in Nigeria, what do? Instead of using the now invoked social media, the machines that go with it, for unproductive things. We convert them to criminalities. That is why our father told us, once you are airport Heathrow in London, and once you measure I am in Nigeria, the whole security arrangement changes. So a high security risk is entering a blessed country. When will you stop being a security threat? We are not just security threat now, we are morality threat. We are morality threat. Anywhere we enter, we bastardize it. Anywhere we go to, we ensure that we desecrate the place. How do we get ourselves organized? We are providing a platform. Umia is providing a platform. You can come and join this association. Our message is simple. Appreciate good. Do good and follow it. Let others see the good in you. You mustn't just say it. Do it and let it be seen. You will be glad that you are with us. Please, it's not a thing, it's not a rhetoric thing. It's not something that must be musical to your ear. But take it as a pride that I am with this group. By God's grace, if you are with us, you will enjoy what you will be seeing and you will be happy with what you will be doing. We pray Allah make us to understand the different messages that have been passed on to us today. I will pray Allah to make us good persons in life and that will be beneficial to ourselves and the larger society. We will pause at this junction to take questions. I think we want to take one or two questions before we close the program. We must appreciate those that have immensely recognized and identified with this program. We saw the Reverend Father, Reverend Gregory. You'll be surprised how we got to know. It was through serious altercation. But after we discussed, we identified the common goal, we became friends. I have his number, he has my number. And he has pledged, once we are doing something good, let me now come around. We are not fighting. Yes, we are not fighting. We have to identify the common areas that will make the society better. And that is what we are doing. May Allah continue to empower us. May Allah continue to widen our horizon, widen our wisdom, to be able to carry out the things we are set out to do. May God be our guide.
Right now we'll go over to questions and answers. This first question goes to the first speaker. This person is trying to ask, how does the person who uses his youthful age will, by the message, will regret later in future? How does a person, a youth, regress in the future?
If a person was a young man, that is the time you are giving everything to be able to use them to become whatever you want to become. The youthful age is the formation age for you to be able to store for your future. It is number one, the age you get an education. Therefore, if you play with your academic life at that youthful age, when your friends will be busy looking for work, you will be busy biting your finger that you squandered the opportunity your parents gave you to go to school, and now maybe they are dead or jobless, retired. Number two, youthful age is an opportunity for you to invest against a future. If you are in a time whereby you can create some investment for yourself and you did not do so, in the far future from now you will look back and begin to wish you had a second chance to do it again. There are several possible ways that you can squander your youthfulness. The most important thing is what your contemporaries are expected to do. What people of your age bracket are supposed to achieve at your time. Make sure you equally achieve your own portion of it. Like Quran said, La tansa nasibaka mina dunya. Don't forget your own portion of this world. If you are in GSS or secondary school generally, and the secondary school person of your age and stage and class is supposed to leave secondary school in 3 years' time from now. Don't leave it in 7 years' time. This is an example of how you begin to drain your usefulness, and it can accumulate into a regret in the future.
People who are addicted to premarital relationships, how do they, resist? How do you resist from premarital relationship? Then again, how does someone correct? That is, to correct immorality in himself, immoral self.
Is who are those that inspire him? Because of this, the Quran says, "Kunu ma'as-sadiqin." Be with good people. The Prophet ﷺ said, "Al-mar'u ala dini khalilihi." A man belongs to the pattern of life of his friends. فَلْيَنْظُرْ أَحَدُكُمْ مَنْ يُخَالِطُ. Therefore, beware of who you befriend. This means for you to not be somebody who becomes patterned along boyfriendy, girlfriendy, fornicating. Avoid people that do these things. In addition to that, ensure that all the windows that lead to your soul, you always control how you use them. And the first window that leads to your soul are your eyes. Whenever you see something, your mind will process it, and then it will be documented in your emotions. If you see nakedness, it will cause you to have strange desires which you will want to express. And because you cannot express them legally, you will seek to express them illegally through fornication. Therefore, you must follow the instructions of the Quran that says, "Yahuddu min absarihim." Always lower your gaze. Because the Quran says that, "Ya'lamu kha'inata al-a'yuni wa ma tukhfi sudur." Allah observes what your eyes see and what is concealed in your heart, linking what the eye sees and what the heart feels. You can see, therefore, the eye can be a very bad window that can lead you on to zina. Lowering gaze becomes very helpful. So in summary, the way you can avoid premarital sex is to avoid what will start you off on it, and to avoid people that will inspire you along that path. Rather, be with good people that talk about Allah in Muslims.
That tramadol is hard drug, but as far as for him or her who is asking this question, it's not a hard drug. It is the bad boys that are giving it bad name, but tramadol he or she knows is for struck bones. He's trying to answer about tramadol. Is it that it's a bad, to be involved in it?
But let me give you an analysis, and then I will now end it with the bad part of tramadol. If you drink water, does it harm you? No. If I take a scoop of sand and throw it upon your body, does it harm you? No. If I take a scoop of cement and also throw it on your body, does it harm you? No. But if I mix sand together with cement, together with water, and it dries up, and I hold the stone at you, will it not harm you? Yes. Now, that is how tramadol is the first part, and tramadol is the second part. Tramadol is ordinarily, like every other pharmaceutical drug, it's supposed to achieve a legitimate purpose. But people have managed to recreate it into another use, which now becomes a bad purpose. Because of that, it becomes dangerous to become exposed to such drugs that have the tendency of being abused. The lecture is not about tramadol, but your idea that tramadol is not meant to be abused is correct. But be warned that it can be abused, and that is the whole idea. So,
or you use for other, maybe for purpose. I saw someone with a spirit, you use it for benefit, as it to be beneficial to you. But somebody who with spirit added something while in the ball, the same balls together, on a leather or pure water, added something. My parents will just make it different combinations. And then the color became so red that he was inhaling it. Whenever he inhales it, you will see this person is no longer alive. He's just like half dead. He will just sip himself backward, confused. Even when we got to the destination where we are going, he didn't even know. Until the conductor, they call him conductor, the man regulating the bus, the one collecting money, now say, so we have got it to the destination. He immediately jumped out, not knowing the car was still moving. And I saw him from the side mirror, it was just something rolling. That is the extent at which these kids can do. Normally, they are not around for you to use. It depends on the user, the way you use it. Now, another question, Sheikh. This goes to Barrister Sirai. Barrister Sirai, a question. Somebody is asking, how can a girl be an advocate of good morals, looking at the challenges in our society?
Good thing. We've seen, I think you've read the novels of Chimamanda Adichie. Have you read the novels? Hello? Have you read the novels of Chimamanda Adichie? Then do you know this young girl? She takes up an idea. It is usually more acceptable to people than they expected. I, Sirajuddin Kabir, if I come up to be driving something now that has to do with morality, or Barrister Daoud Mamadou comes up with something, we already identified. The Vice Amir, Mara Junior, Zakwan, we already identified. What most people will even say is, a nakba at all. But when the unexpected, like, say somebody like Barbara will just come up with a slogan. All girls must marry without no sex. Everybody will want to know, what is this girl out for? It can be something strange. It's not expected that a girl of this age, an unknown person like this, will come up driving very useful and fundamental idea like this. So, we are even encouraging it. Your girls should come up. Tell yourselves, we must not lose ourselves to the tempting age of puberty. We must be firm in what we believe in. It has nothing to do with religion. We are all aware of the preachings of the Bible. When we are quite familiar with the preachings of the Quran, the Islamic faith, none of the faiths measured has encouraged promiscuity. They all valued high standards. We should go for them. We should encourage ourselves to do them. And we should stick out our necks in pursuing them. We should not be ashamed. It should rather be a thing of pride. I am out for this. We must be this. Please, start. My friend here who spoke to you a while ago is into it. And I know you will definitely sponsor it for you if you come up with something good.
All right.
You really enjoy doing it.
What are the halal jobs a Muslim youth can go for, supposed to go for, like in future? You advise from your experience. What are the halal jobs you think that a youth halal, meaning lawful jobs?
There are very much. There are so many. You only have few that you should not do. Yet, it's the few that we should not do that are enticing us. We have very few of them. Don't go into things that intoxicate. Don't go trading on them. Don't go doing things that are morally wrong. You can't be a prostitute. Don't go into Yahoo. You can't be a criminal. Don't be part of the gang that want to trek the Sahara Desert to Europe. That is forbidden for you. Be overdoing. We are here seated. Are we rich? No, but we are comfortable. Some of you are aware, I'm a big time farmer. I'm not only on to the prestigious nature of my job. I'm a lawyer. No, I till the ground so that my family will not suffer. Do something that you know what is right. Do something right. Do something that you will be proud of. Can even people that are doing these obnoxious things, they can't disclose them. You ask them, bros, all of a sudden, what are you doing? They say, don't worry, I'm doing business. A young boy came to me last time. He wanted a lot of things. I was asking him. I was told, look at what he was eating. Sir, you of yesterday, how did this money come? Say, bros, a lot of levels. So I'm supplying this in Calabar, doing this in that. He refused to measure Ayamito Yahoo. Is it now Yahoo Plus? He refused to measure it because he knows it's something that will not be acceptable. So you know what is right. Please, just go after it.
Yes, I'm summarizing it now. Is that the person that is writing this is that he blamed the deformity in our society on technology. He between the age of 18 to 30 was trying to ask, what are the ways of correcting this deformity? Honestly, they are just too obvious. Based on what the first speaker discussed, there are just too many. Number one, pursuing your education is number one. Most of us here studying, amidst of you. If you are to go by our career, you discover that not just only baristas you have here, you have accountants, you have doctors, there are so many here, including you. It starts from you. When you study, you go to the university, believe me, there are jobs readily available for you. Don't think you will not have a job tomorrow. Have it in mind, God is going to provide for you. So therefore, at this junction, we are going over towards the end of the program. But before then, my colleague has just vital information he wants to pass to you.
Like some of you that don't know the meaning of UMIA, and UMIA is United Muslim Youth Association of Nigeria. And our programs are, we have weekly programs as captured in these flyers. The weekly programs are usually on Fridays, 4:30 to 6 o'clock. Please, we advise and urge you to join us in our program weekly. Then also, the venue is Jetu Central Mosque, the upper floor. Please, both brothers and sisters, you are all invited. I said it, the time is 4:30 to 6 p.m. in the evening, Fridays. Then, we want to use this message is coming from the office of the Amir UMIA and United Muslim Youth Association of Nigeria. We want to use this media to appreciate and acknowledge most schools that are present here, especially the old school, Diligence group of schools. Please, we appreciate you give us these facilities to use free. May Allah, Allah acknowledge you, may Allah appreciate and advocate this process for you. The schools we have here, we have the Dean Way, you are present. May Allah return you safely to your destination. Al-Akiko, you are here. Then we have Jetu Grammar School, Afasho Miss Secondary School, the way from Afasho. Then we have Ira Comprehensive from South EBA, as well as Izharuddin Muslim Secondary School. Although St. Ajala is not also left out, Jetu Grammar School, you are all welcome. St. Philip, I acknowledge you. I recognize you. May Allah recognize you. May Allah bless all the teachers that are here present, the well-wishers and all. Please, Afashomi Secondary School, may Allah return you safely. We want to see Al-Akiko representative. Please, if the SP is around, Al-Akiko representative, we want you here. We have a
Jetu Secondary School as well.
Jetu Grammar School, you are needed, please. Dira Comprehensive, where are you?
St. Angela's, please come over.
Afasho Miss Secondary School, please. Afasho Miss Secondary School, where are you? If the SP is not around, anybody can come and take their package.
نسينا واخطانا ربنا ولا تحمل علينا اصرا كما حملته على الذين من قبلنا ربنا ولا تحملنا ما لا طاقة لنا به واعف عنا واغفر لنا وارحمنا انت مولانا فانصرنا على القوم الكافرين سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون والسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.